Hello everybody, my name is James Richardson and welcome to Weston People. Today I've got Brian Humphreys. Hi Brian.
Hi.
Good to see you. Now Brian lives in Weston, and has written a book called The African Adventures of a Born-Again Atheist. Very good author, and we're today going to go through that book with him and a journey that he took, which was 3 or 4 years of a journey, wasn't it, in Kenya?
Yeah, 5 years actually, but the book covers 3-4 years, yeah.
It's a wonderful journey of the ups and downs and trials and tribulations of a lot of different feelings and emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, well done. Well, now, first of all, how did you get into writing?
I've always had a creative gene, if you like. Even from a young age, I used to compile crosswords and I used to compile word searches. Mm-hmm. and I've always been creative. And I remember when my children were young, when they were 3 or 4 years old. Yeah. And, you know, if a child, you said to a child, that's a cloud, and they would say, what's a cloud? And you would say, well, it holds rain. And they would say, what's rain? And you'd say, it falls from the sky, what's sky? And endless questions. And I remember coming home from work one day, hard day's work, and my wife said to one of my sons, here's Dad, ask him. And my son came up to me and said, Daddy, why have we got skin? Right. And I said, well, we'd look really silly without it, wouldn't we? Yeah. And he went, oh, yes, Dad, and walked off. And my wife looked at me, how on earth do you do that? So maybe I've always, you know, managed with words.
Mind, but you've always been able to manage with words as well.
I've always had an inquisitive mind. I sat up all night wondering why the sun shone, and then it dawned on me. So, yeah.
Yeah, well done. Well, now, tell me a little bit about The Adventures of a Born-Again Atheist. This is your book. This one, just here. Okay, now, I've read this book cover to cover, and it's full of, like I said, trials and tribulations. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of bravery involved as well, and a lot of situations that anybody, not only from Weston-super-Mare, but anybody from the UK would find themselves in normally. Yeah. Some scary times, some fun times, and I'm sure there was laughter and tears.
Yeah.
Now, you obviously, were you an atheist before the journey to Kenya?
Yeah, I suppose my parents didn't go to church, so I didn't go to church. I mean, as children, you just follow the role models that you're given. Yeah. And I suppose at the age of 57, I was in Weston-super-Mare with my remote control, just living life for me, and God looked down from heaven and pointed at me and said, Brian, you're going to Kenya. Yeah. Now, I just felt the need to go to Kenya and to help. Sure. Because I've had a good life. I've never been short of food. And I just thought, I knew there was a group of Christians going, and 2006, I thought, I'd like to go as well.
March 2006?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, are you still an atheist now? Or has anything changed?
Yes, everything's changed. I was 100% atheist before I went to Kenya, but there was something magical. I could see in the children, in the poverty, in the young faces, that although they had nothing, they had a faith that one day, a belief that one day things would get better. And I realised they were richer than me. I mean, I've got a car, a house, a business, a wife, 2.4 kids. But I realised they were richer than me. And so I started on a journey. Yeah. And in 2007, I decided I would go back to Kenya every year for the rest of my life. Okay. And in 2007, I went and helped some more. In 2008, I was baptised in a Kenyan river in front of 100 singing and dancing Kenyans. Right. So I climbed that spiritual ladder so quickly, I could almost see the gates of heaven. But the devil is always there in the background, trying to pull you down.
Well, let's face it. I mean, before you went to Kenya, you were an everyday guy doing everyday things, telling jokes, like the rest of us. I mean, did anything change? And what changed your mind? Because from what you read and from what you've told me as well, before you set off on your journey to Kenya, you were sitting down, watching television, Jack Daniels and Coke in one hand. Was it Jack Daniels and Coke?
That's a little bit of writer's creativity. I don't drink a lot of Jack Daniels and Coke. So that's a bit of creativity.
That's a bit of creativity in the book. So was it down to the feeling that something bigger than the rest of us wanted you to be there and to help and to guide you to Kenya? Yeah,
I can't explain it. The opportunity was there. Maybe a lot of people would love to go out to Kenya and try to help, or India. Yeah. I'm sure we all watch the Children in Need and the programs, and we all feel for at least maybe quarter of an hour, half an hour, I wish there was something I could do. Yeah. And I just kind of had that feeling inside me that it was my time to go and do something.
That's fair enough. We do. We all get the feeling that we want to, help. And when you get these things that come on television to donate money, I think it was a very brave move for you to do that, especially from the safety of your own home and from what you already knew, and to jump out of a comfort zone into something, like Kenya. Yeah. So were you scared?
Oh, I was scared. Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah. But I also learned the art of becoming invisible as well.
Okay.
If you want to know how to become invisible, stand in a supermarket with a charity tin.
Right.
Because it's amazing. I over the last 4 or 5 years must have spent 2 months of my life stood in various stores with a charity tin collecting for the poor in Kenya.
Yeah.
And even family and friends walk past and look the other way.
Oh, it's awful.
And until you say, it's me, look, it's me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, unfortunately, I'm sure there's many people watching who do give to charity.
Of course,
absolutely. And God bless everyone.
Yeah. But it's awful when it happens. I mean, you're not asking them to put pound notes in or even pound coins, only loose change.
Yeah.
Every little helps.
Yeah.
Pennies make pounds at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, there's a name of a man I'm going to give you now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's Alan Sugar or Simon Cowell or the Big Cheese. Who's the Big Cheese? And tell me about the Big Cheese.
The Big Cheese is the man upstairs.
Okay.
That's God.
Yeah.
I just want to thank God, actually, for my wife. She's probably watching.
Yeah.
I just want to thank God for providing me with a special woman. We've been married for goodness knows how many years. But it's so nice to have that one special person that you can annoy for the rest of your life.
Sure.
So thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's the Big Cheese who sent me to Kenya.
And a note. He left you a note.
Yes, that first part of the book is a send up of a book called The Shack, which was a best-selling Christian novel.
Yes.
And so that's a little side issue with The Shack, really. But anyway, I ended up in Kenya.
Sure.
And my life changed completely.
Yeah, I can see that very much so. And you went to many places, but there was one place in particular which interests me. You say you went to a dark place. Is that a geographical place, or is that somewhere else closer to home?
The dark place is a Kenyan toilet. It's a pit latrine.
Oh, okay. Right.
If any of you saw Slumdog Millionaire, where the boy is in the toilets, and that was graphically overdone. But a pit latrine is basically a hole in the ground where you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And when we go out to Kenya, we work in a village. We live as the villagers do.
Sure.
And we share their conditions and we share their pain.
Of course, it's not as if you can flush a toilet, is it?
No, but we share their joy as well. There is a good side to it. I recommend everybody go and do 2 weeks aid work in Kenya because it is really inspiring.
It brings it home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you keep clean?
It's difficult, but we're well looked after.
Yeah.
The villagers will go down to the river in the morning or to the wells, and they will provide us every morning with water. We have a shower room, some warm water, mainly cold, and you just chuck water over yourself and just clean yourself the best you can.
You just gotta get by as you can, as you said. So, did you have any vaccinations? I mean, let's face it, it's something that you need to be careful of. And are they on the NHS, or did you have to pay for them?
No, you have to pay. You have to pay for the yellow fever injection, £150. Malaria tablets, £2 each, and it's quite ironic that you spend time in Kenya and every day you take a £2 tablet and you watch a Kenyan working. We've helped provided the money to build a big community centre, and we watch the labourers working all day for £2 a day, and we sit there and take a £2 tablet.
A £2 tablet. And of course, if you are taking vaccinations such as yellow fever, and then there must be something like that there's a chance of catching it in Kenya, which means that if we're protecting ourselves at 100 and we're paying £150, there's not any surprise that there are people dying out there of these illnesses because they can't afford £150 vaccination.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Most of the area that we work in, the villagers, are what's called subsistence farmers, and they grow food to survive, not to sell at the market. So, say a family's got enough land to grow 20 sacks of maize. That land provides 20 sacks of maize, and they need 15 sacks to live on. Then they've got a little bit of spare, but then somebody's ill and they need medicines. They sell a sack of maize. Somebody needs to pay for school uniforms, they sell a sack of maize. And what happens towards the end of the year is the next crop is in the fields, it's 3 weeks away from being available, and they're starving because they've run out of food.
So whereas in Kenya and these villages they're working to live, we can say the same here, of course the same here, but a lot of people here work to enjoy.
Yeah.
So there is a huge difference between the two. Instead of having to work to survive, we work to enjoy and have more pleasurable things, I suppose.
Yeah.
I can get that. Yeah, it's pretty hard hitting, isn't it? Now, where did you stay and where did you sleep?
In the village that we always go and work in, they have built there's some purpose-built accommodation. So we are looked after quite well. We've got a tin roof over our heads, beds, mosquito nets. So that's really good. And they feed us, they treat us like kings. They're so grateful because we not only provide water and buildings and books and wheelchairs and all the other things that we can provide, we give them hope.
Sure.
And they're more than happy to look after us. In the hope that we'll go back, and of course I go back every year.
Of course.
And I'm treated like a king.
They're gracious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gracious people. Was there anybody in Kenya that inspired you at all? I mean, do you still keep in touch with them? Do they write? Or is there only way of communication and seeing with people that, to be fair, you probably treat as family now and very good friends and close friends? Is the only way that you can get to them by going there? Or do you receive any letter or postage?
I get emails probably 5 or 6 a week. 2 or 3 from one guy who I really bonded with. I get a lot of emails. Unfortunately, I get a lot of emails at times of need.
Okay.
How are you, brother? Can you send me some money? And it is difficult and heart-wrenching because you help one person and you're going to get another 50. It's so difficult. And the challenge of... I've helped to raise probably £25,000 in Weston over the last few years. So I want to thank everybody who donated and did put in the collections, and I've supported. There's many people that I want to thank. Probably £25,000.
Well done.
And the difficulty then is making sure that money is spent wisely.
Of course. Because
Kenya is a corrupt country. And you have to watch every penny. And sadly, you can't send the money and then go the next year. You need to take it with you and oversee what's going on.
Sure.
But we are helping.
buying material goods, does that help? So taking material goods over or buying material goods when you're there, or would you be handing the cash over to somebody there, or how would that work?
Well, that's the difficult thing. If a team of 12 go and we all leave our clothes, then yes, it's going to bless people, but the people down the market that are selling second-hand clothes, they're not going to have a very good week or two because people don't need to buy their second-hand clothes. So it's difficult trying not to upset the ecosystem. It's
putting it to good use.
Yeah,
where it's going to help and benefit everybody.
Yeah.
It must be very difficult. I mean, let's face it, Brian. You made a huge sacrifice. You really did. And I know that you're not one to sort of blow your own trumpet and what have you, but you did make a sacrifice, and you left the comfort of your own home and Weston and whatever, and the things and people that you knew to go and do this. Who at home or here in Weston knew of your sacrifice?
I made sure everybody knew.
Good man. Good.
No, I mean, my wife has supported me, 100% all the way, pushing me out there. She wouldn't set foot in Africa herself.
No.
She can spot a spider from 100 yards, and so I don't think I'll ever get my wife out to Kenya. But,
sure.
But she's my number one supporter, and there's many people that do appreciate. Over the years of fundraising, I've had 2 Western Supermare millionaires who I won't name, who have donated £3,000 each. Knowing that I was doing this, I was doing that. So I want to thank those especially.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's brilliant. Now, obviously, the sacrifice you made, was it worth it?
Oh, yes.
Have you made a difference?
I like to think I've made a difference. I'm sure that I have. I mean, when I go back to Kenya, there was 3-year-old children that are now 8.
Right. Okay.
I've watched children grow into, from being 3 years old, and the next time that they get an illness or sickness, they might not survive. And I've seen 8-year-olds become young adults, 13, 14-year-olds, and go off to school with confidence.
Yeah.
And we've worked in the schools, and I'm sure.
You must do.
I'm sure that somewhere along the line, some people have benefited. But I've benefited myself.
Yes, obviously within yourself you've benefited too. But I admire you for the fact that there is something about seeing if you can just save one child, or if you can see that one child grow up to be a young adult. Then, no, well done. Fair play to you, because it's something that a lot of us would only dream of doing. No, you have made a difference.
Yeah, you see, we're programmed in life to expect that we're born in a nice national health hospital. We're brought up in double glazed centrally heated homes. We go to school and have free education. We go to university with low fees. We get a well paid job, and we work until we're 60, 65, and we retire with a good pension. And that's what we're programmed to expect that. And if, as the millions who went on strike the last week or the week before, we're programmed to expect that. And if we're not getting that, then people get angry. And yet, on the other side of the coin, 2/3 of the world are starving and haven't got clean water.
Sure.
And I just don't see. I find that difficult, that balance to. And now with the credit crunch, obviously people are saying we shouldn't make contributions, donations to the third world. Well, I'm sorry, but there isn't a third world. There's one world, and it has enough water, enough food for everybody.
Sure.
And we need to somehow. Don't get me started on third world. But
that's fine.
But the book is not deep and meaningful of trying to change the world.
No.
It's just a sideways look at life.
And it's an experience that not a lot of us have had.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And all profits go to Kenya.
Brilliant. Well done.
So,
yeah. Well, when you got home, you had a bit of a welcome home from somebody. Who welcomed you home? Now, there was something in the book about the devil. What happened there?
Well, the devil is there every step of the way. Whatever you're trying to do in life, whether whether you're a Christian, whether you're an atheist, whatever you want to do in life, the devil, there's always the temptation. We all, if we had the opportunity, we'd fiddle our taxis. We all, you know, there's always that temptation every day, and the devil was always waiting for me to slip up. And the more that you step forward and become a good person, I think the more the devil gets on your case.
Sure.
And I don't have all the answers, and I don't understand it, but in the book, my weakness is clear for all to see, and the devil does kick the ladder from under my feet and welcomes me back home.
And what happened there?
Complete loss of faith, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
A complete loss of faith. But the book, I don't want to spoil the book for anybody that wants to read it.
Of course.
But a lot of people could make the same mistakes that I made.
Sure. Or do make the same mistakes as we all do.
But there's good news at the end of the book, so keep reading.
Absolutely. And, it's very good news, and you know it's an experience of one man, i.e. Brian, who's experienced it all. Now, I've got 2 questions left, but I'm sure if anybody has read the book, or when you are going to read the book, I won't ask you to explain what the last one is, but what's chicken tarka?
When I first got this strange feeling in my stomach, to this urge to kind of go to Kenya, if you like.
Yeah.
The last time I had that feeling was when I ate chicken tarka, which is like chicken tikka, but otter.
Lovely. Sounds lovely.
It's just one of the one-liners in the book that just spices it up and
literally.
Spices it up. Yeah.
And last but not least, the spaghetti monster. What's a spaghetti monster? It's mentioned a couple of times in the book.
I mean, I don't. A lot of my best friends are atheists, and I've got a lot of friends that are Christians, and I've got many friends that are in between. And I personally don't mind what somebody believes in.
No.
They can believe in the flying spaghetti monster for all I
care. Okay.
The most important thing in life is to be a good person. And help others. I'm at my best when I help others. Yeah. When I look after myself and my family and me, life isn't satisfying.
Sure.
There's a Chinese proverb, and I can't remember it exactly, but it's something like, if you want happiness for a day, get drunk.
Yeah.
If you want happiness for a week, have an affair. Right. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody.
Right.
Something like that. Maybe look it up on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's so true. If you just helping other people, not in the expectation of having a reward, just helping other people, you just gain so much.
Yeah, self-respect.
It comes back tenfold. Yeah.
Yeah, you gain self-respect, and I agree. I mean, it's in a different sense. Yes, it's near Christmas now, but sometimes the giving of something to somebody, i.e. Christmas presents and what have you, is sometimes more enjoyable than receiving, and I'm a big believer in that, and it makes me feel good, and I'm sure it makes a lot of people at home feel good too. Yeah. Now, you also belong to a writers group.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the writers group, which we will put at the end of the show, the website where you can contact Brian. Well, not the writers group, but Brian's website, where you can contact him and you can find out where to join the writers group in Weston-super-Mare. And at this group, there's a lot of individuals that put things together.
Yep.
And Brian is now going to read to you one of the, what would you call it?
Creative writing.
Okay.
Really.
Creative writing that himself and other people of the group have put together. Yeah. And this is what you can experience if you get involved with them as well. So take it away, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, I started writing. The book is my journey. It's true life with some creative experiments inside it. But I came back in February. I started a writers group, and if there are any men watching that are short of lady friends, start a writers group, because I have a group of 13, and it's 12 ladies and myself. But in 6 months, we're all doing creative writing. This is just a little Christmas something. Away in a Manger. no crib for his bed. The little Lord Jesus lay down his sweet head. Beside him were his proud parents, Mary and Joseph, the innkeeper, and 3 wise men bearing gifts. Outside, a bright light shone down from the starry sky above, illuminating the joyous celebration. Trumpets blew and angelic voices sang as a man in a suit and tie appeared out of the shadows carrying a clipboard. He rapped his knuckles loudly on the stable door. Those inside checked their scripts and scratched their heads. Who could it be? The innkeeper opened the stable door. Who are you? I'm from Bethlehem Council. We've received complaints about loud music, loud singing and bright lights. Do you have an entertainment licence? You don't understand, said Joseph. This is a celebration, a great occasion. The king is born today. That's as may be, but European Union legislation clearly shows no bright lights are permissible after 10 p.m. Who is responsible for that bright light above? The baby, explained Joseph. He's the son of... Oh, that's right, blame the baby. I've heard it all now, said the man from Bethlehem Council. I've also received complaints about someone riding a donkey without wearing a crash helmet. Contrary to section 534, subsection 2 of the Safe Highways Act, I suppose that was the baby as well. Technically, yes, explained Mary. I was pregnant with child and I rode the donkey for 4 days. For 4 days? I'll have to report you to the RSPCA. Donkeys have rights, you know. And for riding without a helmet, a spot fine of 60 shekels, please. You can't fine Mary, said a man holding a gift. And who are you telling me what I can and can't do? I'm one of the 3 wise men. And who decided that you were wise? Have you won Who Wants to Win 1,000,000 shekels? Have you beaten the eggheads? And what are you holding? A gift of gold for the baby Jesus. Gold? And where did you get that? To comply with the Bethlehem Financial Services Authority, can you show bank statements and provide proof of identity to satisfy money laundering requirements? No, of course not. Well, I'm sorry, I have no alternative but to confiscate it. You will have 48 hours to produce your documents at the council offices. The first wise man began to cry. But I've carried that gold for 3 days to give to the King of Kings. Don't be upset, said the second wise man. We'll give the king the gift of frankincense between us. Providing, of course, I can see a certificate that the product has not been tested on animals. It's an aromatic herb, explained the second wise man, obtained from trees and specifically designed for personal use. A herb for personal use? Sounds like a Class B drug to me. I'm sorry, I'll have to confiscate it. But it is also written in the European Union Book of Ethical Perfume Production, said the council official, that no perfumes shall be tested on animals. We'll give the gift of myrrh from all 3 of us, said the third wise man, handing it over. Myrrh, said the official. What's myrrh? Egyptian Scrabble? It is an essential oil, and the label clearly shows it has not been tested on animals. The 3 wise men crossed their fingers behind their backs. I'm sorry, but this container does not have a child-proof lock. I'm afraid I'll have to confiscate this also. The 3 wise men were stunned into silence. But the innkeeper received some divine inspiration. Didn't I see you across town yesterday issuing a spot fine to a shepherd? That's right, landlord. His animals were clearly obstructing Bethlehem High Street, contrary to the Animals and Countryside Act, subsection 36. Perhaps I could see your paperwork. Certainly, landlord. As you can see, I'm fully authorised by Bethlehem Central District. In that case, said the landlord, you have no authority here. My inn is situated in Bethlehem South District, so be off with you. Surprisingly, this encounter was omitted from the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, and so the Nativity, as we know it, came to pass.
Well done.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Well done to you all. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. And like I said, if you want to get in touch with Brian or the writers group or the book itself, which it really is a very good read, please get in touch and we'll be showing that on the show at the end. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.